This is the elite branch of Sun Life, and yet we have very basic questions to survival and to make us rise and shine here on. Can we hear from you first, what was the one thing that you can remember best about your very illustrious, successful career?
Well, I had my breakthrough on the COT. It was a client of mine, who is doing estate planning, right? And the husband is dying, 6 months, terminal cancer. So that's how I got breakthrough. But more importantly is that people ask me how I did this case, right? It is through a referral of just a very small plan of hospitalization. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So never give up. That's for sure. Never look down on any little small cases that we have been closing, because you never know that particular person will lead you to the biggest case in your life. Yeah, so we have a lot of responsibility to this career for our friends and our family. So that will really impact me a lot, and then we go from strength to strength.
Good. And so that was your COT breakthrough?
Yes, that's
starting
right.
with the hospital. Very good. Thank you for sharing that. How many years now in the business?
14 years.
14
coming,
and
14 years.
how many of that was your COT?
You're so young.
I know, 14 already.
You started at 10?
After everything. Yes.
I am 39 this year, and 7 years of MDRT.
There you go.
2 times COT. Yeah. So
Introduction.
That's what I thought. Okay, very good. Thank you very much. See, this should have been, but thank you though for leading us on to this very important segment of our program this morning. This is Alex, did I get you right, of Singapore. Alex is a highly accomplished financial professional with a strong track record of success in the industry. He's originally from there, and he was awarded the prestigious Singapore ASEAN Scholarship, allowing him to pursue his education from junior high through university entirely in Singapore. And Singapore is one of the toughest educational challenging universities. He received the SEMB Corporate Scholarship and spent 2 years contributing to the oil and gas industry. That's a high-end program. In 2010, he transitioned to the financial planning industry. And maybe that's where my question will come in.
Yeah.
What made you do the jump from oil to this industry?
Well, back then it was because of the very bureaucratic, that whole, I don't really like it, right? So it's about, you guys know what is Tai Chi?
Yes.
All right, so
Okay.
you guys, how many of you are from corporate?
Corporate.
Former corporate. Right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I believe it's the same, right?
Yes.
In corporate,
Mhm.
we were not taught to take responsibility, but rather how to play Tai Chi.
Meaning Tai Chi, your
means
definition of
change, shift the
relaxation.
responsibility, things
to
like
the
that.
other.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
okay,
so-
that's the Tai Chi. It's you, not me.
Pala yun.
Okay, pass it
So
on.
I don't have
That's
to
the
stay long
energy.
in
Yes.
the corporate
No
world to
responsibility.
know that I
Yes.
cannot
Go
go
to
far.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is where I make the jump. Now I
I will
deliberately.
I will deliberately tell from here. So you made the jump, and
Yeah.
that jump was very significant because in all these years in this industry, already is a 7 MDRT qualifier with 2 court of the table, and is expected to officially receive the TOT this year. Oh, and we're privileged to have you this year.
Thank you.
When
thank
you're
you.
going to the top, please take us with you to the top of the table. So since 2021, Alex has focused his expertise on serving single-family offices. So that's interesting. So it's a business line, right? And he leveraged extensive knowledge and experience to cater to the unique needs of this discerning clientele. With his proven track record and commitment to excellence, Alex is a trusted advisor, helping families achieve their long-term financial goals in a corporate setting. That's a big deal. What are some of the major challenges and how did you cope with that?
Well, it's really, various challenges.
Mhm.
Now you can see that I'm not prepared,
Ah.
but I deliberately wanted to
Yes.
put that oil and gas, right? It's
Mhm.
because I know from a quick glance, there's majority of you are ladies. How many of you are, I see only a few gentlemen who are from the engineering line. Oh, good, awesome.
And lady engineers.
Yeah,
Our
right,
branch
great,
manager
great.
is an
Yeah,
engineer.
we make things happen, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, the reason why I want to appeal to our fellow engineers who are, or rather more structured, right? Because as you can see, me and Scott, and we are very different,
Yes.
right? They don't like to talk to engineers. They think that we
Okay.
But hey, we engineers are human too, right? So we can make it. Anyway, so like what are the greater challenges I think as an engineer is that we are very structured, right? We are not so I always say not friendly, just that we are not good in expressing, right? I think the first speaker, Miss Nat, was sharing that she's
Yes,
not so,
Kat.
Kat, right? Not so outgoing, things like that. But it takes practice. I think the easiest way is to be genuine, right? I put it in a very summarized manner, like I always share with my advisors. In this career, we need to learn both the science and the art. Right? So this is also true MDRT, right? Both the science and the art. Now science you can learn. The art is experience. Right? So talk to your managers. I believe that if you are having some challenge or struggles in one part of it, try to improve the other. Yeah. So
Okay. Very good. Thank you. So you are a manager with how many people?
currently I have about 14.
14.
14,
And you're
yeah.
still top of the table this year. That's a remarkable feat. Because MDRT is an individual quest for excellence. So you're doing this while you're managing 14 people who you're trying to make MDRTs, I'm sure. So how did that come to be? Are you
Yeah,
married?
it's
Are you married?
yes, I am.
You even have a family and children?
Yeah, two
Oh,
beautiful children.
okay, so you have 3 demanding aspects of your life, you have 14 advisors, and this year you're going to be TOT.
Yes, that's right.
How did it happen? Or how do you make that happen?
Well, as I said, is this journey,
Yes.
truthfully, is really challenging. It's ups and downs.
Yeah.
There are times where, those who are married, we have disagreements with our spouse,
Oh, you just hit a very popular chord over here. Okay, and yet you survived it. You're still
yeah, I
married,
did.
right?
We learn how to
Tai Chi. Tiger. Okay, or tiny. Okay, good.
Yeah, we learn how to see things in with a common goal.
Very good.
All right. Yeah. Learn commitment. All right, and also learn to accept. Yeah.
Learn to bow to your wife.
I know just now Scott mentioned about in management it's not easy, right? I mean we heard many stories in terms of how managers and advisors can't get along, things like that. It is, and to the managers, it's a very thankless job, yeah.
That's why you're a manager.
But we have to understand, that every one of us are made up differently.
That's right.
Yeah. So just like Miss Card, I mean, she's wonderful. Was like wow, 10 years, 8 years of MDRT, and I remember one of the speakers was sharing that, hey, managers, don't, like Scott was also mentioning, don't expect, your, all that you recruit will be like you, all right? Now, granted, I mean, all of us as managers would like to have Miss Cut as our advisors, they are like, but to the rest, it's like, some of us would just start off as a helicopter, right? The moment you start the engine and you can just, wow, boom, But most of us, I think, I'm probably just a little bit faster, but some of us, all of us are aeroplanes, right? We need a longer runway, to take off, right? But don't give up. I mean, any one of you who has, longer than 17 years in the industry? Anyone?
We are telling, but yes,
Okay,
there
yeah.
are. Some
Exception of
looking
us,
young
yeah,
enough.
Yeah.
Like you.
So if you have yet to achieve, right, you have no right to, you have a living example in
Yes,
Scott, that
for sure.
achieved his first MDRT 17 years later. Yeah, right? Yeah.
Oh, March, may pag-asa ka pa.
Yeah. So don't give up. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
That's very encouraging. I'd like to move on to our next guest, who is from Malaysia, Richard Chan. Richard is a seasoned professional in the Malaysian financial sector with a career that began at HSBC. Are we not familiar with that? Who has credit cards there? They rob you, they want to get to you as a credit, and exactly that's what you are, a credit card sales officer at the age of 19, a very young age, hustler. Okay. Transitioning to the insurance industry in 2012, Richard amassed 11 years of invaluable experience, culminating with his achievement at the prestigious MDRT qualification in 2023. So a fresh MDRT, okay? The accomplishment stands as a testament to his dedication and expertise in serving clients, solidifying his reputation as a visionary leader in the industry. Richard continues to excel, earning recognition as a trailblazer in the dynamic world of finance. So you shifted from being a credit card sales officer to becoming one in the financial services business. And in 2023, which is probably one of the hardest years to be in this business, you made it well. Could you tell us how that came to be?
2023, I get my lifetime MDRT.
Lifetime! Whoever did this missed that part. It's probably at the back of this iPad.
No worries.
But as you can see, I'm beholden to whatever they feed me. But all the more, lifetime means at least 10 years. So there you go.
10 years with one time cut off the table.
And you are how old now?
I'm turning 36 soon.
Oh my goodness, what is this? Thank you. We all are very young looking. So there must be something to this industry. We look younger than the years we're spending in there.
Yeah, keep traveling. And you look
There you go.
younger.
Keep being very busy. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you initiate your pursuit of becoming an MDRT achiever?
So when I was a banker,
Yes?
19 years old,
Mhm.
in the bank,
Yeah.
they didn't want to hire me, right? Because I don't speak English and I have no experience. But I waited the person who interviewed me at the car park. So
You
after that-
waited for the person.
After that, I said, give me a chance.
There you go. Persistence, huh? And
I can be very,
Which is holding you in good stead, okay?
Because at the point of time, my dad has surgery, so I want him to stop working. Yeah, after 4.5 years, he had a surgery again. I mean, like, I feel like he should stop working as a mechanic repairing motorbikes. So I was a sole income earner. In the bank, you have a basic salary, good basic salary, but not really high commission. So I have to change. I have parents and a young brother who is very good in studying, a lot better than me. So yeah. So and then I met my, which is my agency manager.
Okay.
His mother is the one who recruited me actually.
Okay.
Yeah, she tell me how good a son he is. So I felt like if I should work with someone that I felt like he's a good person,
Yes.
So I'm really glad to join. And first year he told me that first year we should aim for MDRT already, because at the point of time, we are a very young team. My manager is actually 1 year younger than me. So he said, Richard, we should take the lead, and you have experience in the bank. Can we do it together? I said, yes, let's do it. It's very stressful in the beginning, like, because you feel, oh, I have to do it now, like, you know.
Always
Yeah.
now. Or
But you
yes.
thank him later, then, oh, okay, you thank him later, then thank you for pushing me.
So that's the big push that
Yeah.
brought you there. As an MDRT achiever, what perks or advantages beyond financial gains do you find the most compelling? That's why you're in this business. Of the many things you've achieved.
Traveling around the world
There you go.
and making friends and meeting nice people, like how I met Scott, Alex, and then Janet, and all of you. It keeps you going.
There you go, yes.
Keeps
And
you
most
going.
of the travel's free, right? Because it's an award.
Yeah.
Then the next
Yeah.
is you.
I never miss the convention. Every time there's a new place they announce, I know I want to be there. So I
MDRT
start-
convention.
Yeah,
Yes.
not the. I mean the convention in the
In your company.
in the company. Then I will start searching YouTube clips that try to imagine I'm there.
There you go. See, just think of that, all right?
Yeah.
Very good, Tim.
Early,
Thank you for
early.
that. Yes.
I think Scott would also be a good, candidate to answer that question,
Yeah.
considering the number of years that he's been involved, not only qualifying for MDRT, but also very much involved in the organization. Scott?
We were about to move to Scott. Okay, go.
MDRT, like I said earlier, has become a way of life. And I've met good friends. In fact, your agent here, Janet, I've known her for almost 11 years. You meet friends from all over the world. In 2015, I made my first trip to Asia. Alex invited me over with his family. I was afraid to tell them I've never been out of the United States other than a cruise. I was scared to death. I gotta admit it. They wanted me to download, we always joke about it, they wanted me to download WhatsApp. I know y'all know what WhatsApp is. Well, I'm trying to download it on my phone,
Yes.
and it wouldn't download. So they called me again, Scott, you gotta do it this way. It still wouldn't download. So finally they said, oh, that's a dumb American. He don't know how to do it. We'll show you when you get over here.
So you had to come
So
over.
I get over there, and they never told me I had to have a smartphone. I was trying to download it on an old BlackBerry phone.
That's why.
So but talking about traveling, because I'm independent now, my travel's on my time and my dime. But the money don't matter. And when I say the money don't matter, where else can you have lifetime friends, and I say lifetime friends, and be able to share your time with?
Yeah.
Not only the business life, but your personal life. And I'll leave it with one last thing. Alex, he said, he has 2 kids. It was an honor to me, and yes, I cried for days, when he asked my permission if he could name his kid after me.
What an honor.
And that, to this day, means more to me than anything. It shows the age gap is there, but it doesn't mean nothing. It's only a number when it's friends.
Yes.
Find your friends. Your friends are going to be the ones that are going to support you to reach that new height. But they're also going to be the ones to be honest with you. And the hardest lesson I had to learn, I was always there, and growing up, happy-go-lucky, being there for everyone else. And finally one year they sat me down and they said, Scott, why don't you let us be there for you? You don't open up. I led very shelter. I wouldn't open up. And I share that with you because that was a detriment. Don't be afraid to open up to your friends. Let them know your good and bad times, your happy times, your embarrassing times. Why? Because that's who you are. And as Oscar Wilde once said, be yourself because everyone else is taken.
Very good. Yes, very, very true. And thank you for opening up, for sharing. And I think once you started that, there's no stopping. Because this was the real you, the genuine, sincere you. And it's a very good testament to know that a son is following in your name. Now you have to keep at it.
Yeah.
Because there's someone who's looking out for you. Okay, we're talking about the nice side about this. And yes, MDRT is a way of life. But part of that way of life is rejection. Can any of you share a significant rejection experience and how you converted that into what made you the MDRT icon you are?
I'll go ahead and start by having the mic and then pass it down.
Okay.
It was one thing I shared with the agents yesterday when we had lunch. All no means is not right now. And when I say not right now, you're being rejected because there's no connection. So, don't take it personally. Find another agent that you feel they can deal with. Split the case, work with them. And even if it's not a split case, who cares? The other agent's going to do the same thing down the road when there's a client they don't click with. Unfortunately, I don't click with everyone. And as Alex said, I hate engineers. Why? Because they're too technical. And that's not me. Does that mean it's wrong? No. That's who they are. So find your clientele of who you are, and you'll never get rejected. You'll never get rejected.
Yes. Okay. Go Alex.
Well, just like how I shared with yesterday's, yeah, you know, we had a little sharing session. I honestly, I don't feel good being rejected,
Of course.
you know, but it's very important to have your mentors around. I mean, I do call Scott every now and then, you know, so and so cases and so. But how I have this thing called the psychosomatic is that, hey, I think if you reject me, I think you have missed out. You know, one of the best advisors that are gonna have approached you. You know, you must have that self-confidence, right? I mean, I know it's easier said than done, but you have to keep telling yourself, all right? And work on the small cases, all right? Little by little, right? Because we all have our ups and downs. And all these will breed confidence. Yeah. So I know I shared, like, you know, to my team and then to people, it's like, hey, it's true, like what Scott mentioned, is like when they reject you right now, it's not they reject you as a person. They reject it's not the right time yet. It is really, I mean, like I know how many cases, you know, that we have closed. I mean, especially for those experienced, is a year or two, right? Why? They come back to you because you're still being, you know, genuinely persistent, all right? You're sincere. They will remember you, right? So I use my list, right? Those who have prospected way back in 2010. Trust me, all right? I still have that list. You know, we all have our Google calendars, right? Right? We all have our appointments that I've set. I still get my PA to, you know, jot it down. Oh, I'm not close to this person yet, all right? As long as it's not close, it's still a prospect. Yeah, I recycle, you know, and I tell my guys, it's like, why you guys always run out of leads? They're so pampered today. They're like, you know, we get them, we buy them leads, and then when they call, then it's like, oh, you know, they don't want it. I say, well, they don't want it now doesn't mean that they don't want it later. Yeah, one of the cold call, you know, scripts that we have is like, hey, if someone rejects you, what is the way that you answer it after 3 objection handling? The last one. I don't know whether you have it here. It's like, hi, Mr. Scott, can I give you a call maybe 3 months down the road or 6 months down the road? I don't know how many of you will get rejected to that unless it's really, really, don't call me again, I don't want to hear your voice again. I'm fine, but the chances are very rare. Yeah, so with this, right, practice, and then you will be very immune to it. Okay, Richard. Move on to the next one. Yeah.
You don't personalize it too
Yes,
much.
that's
But
right.
I noticed with that technique, you put a date to it.
Yes.
Now, it's probably a real date or a fictitious date.
Of course, when you call, right,
Yeah.
you put a note, all right, okay,
I'll
call this person 6 months
Okay.
later,
So
all
you
right,
put
a
it
year
in your
later.
tab.
Yeah, I use one of the example of this very successful, I think the coach, right, Bruce Etherington,
Bruce, yes.
One, particularly for all the big cases, it can be 1,000 a month or 5,000 a month, regardless. After 1 year, all right, give this person a call, all right, in a joking manner, and says that, hi, Mr. Prospect, I just want to give you a call to commemorate our 1 year anniversary of non-business relationship. I use that a lot, and it's like, eventually some of them will become your clients.
You were thoughtful enough to connect. That's nice. How about you, Richard? Do you have some stories to share similar to that?
Yeah, talking about rejection.
Yes.
In the beginning of the career, you always take the rejection personally, right? You feel bad, and it affects your mood sometimes, especially in the beginning of their career. So I have one client that one of my existing clients referred to me in my first year of the industry. Then he tell me, Richard, I won't sign up with you. He said, you're too new and you will give up very soon. Trust me. He said, you won't last very long because you have seen too much. He's a big businessman, a Dato Seri, a very honorable person in Malaysia. So he told me that, and I was in the beginning of, I was in the front of the gate. So I didn't even go into his house. So what happened is, in my last 2023, so May, I went to visit him again, and then he said, "Oh, you're still in the business?" I said, "Yeah, I'm fighting for my lifetime MDRT." So he said, "Oh, sorry, I have everything covered. I bought policy from Hong Kong. I'm covered in USD. I cannot buy any more from you." Then we talked. He invited me in. I told Scott that I'm going to see this client. I say I just try my luck. So after maybe 30 minutes, he said, okay, since you didn't give up, you are still here, maybe you can write a policy for my 2 kids. How much you need? So that reminded me that it took me 10 years to sign this client, and I still remember how I feel when he said you won't last long in the industry. I took it very personally at the time, but maybe he did that to many people because he's wealthy and he's seen too many salesperson around. He's very good in rejecting people, and yeah, luckily I didn't give up. I tried.
More than luck.
I tried.
More than luck. He was blessed to know that you didn't give up.
Yeah.
And therefore you were far
And now
better.
he invited me. He said, "I cook vegetarian food. Come over." So I'm happy.
You know what you did? You rejected this rejection.
Yeah.
Staying on course. And that, I think, is a big lesson for us, right? Okay. It's something I'm seeing in our conversation today, and it's also part of having been also with MDRT for a good number of years, with Lifetime. It's this mentoring process. Like you said, no? You find a friend, you can share the challenge of this business. It's important, isn't it? First of all, to go to MDRT, you have to pay your way to attend, even as a lifetime member. And it's an expense that really, like Scott said, I'm doing this on my time, on my dime. But you want to do it because it's already part of your lifestyle. So can these 2 gentlemen, young-looking gentlemen, talk about mentoring? And then I'll ask Scott to tie it up with, you're the one that took the longest to get to MDRT, but probably one of the longest staying there, how this mentoring started you there and kept you here. Shall we start with Richard? You have the mic, why not? Mentoring. You applied for mentoring, you looked for a friend in MDRT. I mean, that's usually the process, right? There's a mentoring booth.
Actually, I
You did.
didn't apply
didn't
for
do
the,
anything.
but
Okay.
I met Scott when my manager brings him,
So Malaysia.
invited him to my office to speak, and then I reached out.
You reached out, number one. You don't move. Hopefully,
The day when they leave Penang, I drop a visit to their hotel room to say goodbye and thank you for. Then we keep in touch. And having a person far away from you that has no tie to your business, it feels like you can tell him a lot in the business,
Yes.
and you can tell him that how do you really feel about, like, there are times you will feel like you want to give up sometimes, like you have no more new leads, you have no follow-ups, your clients turns you down, your existing clients say no too much, so you feel like you're stuck. But having a person tell you their experience and listen to you, I think the most important part is listen to you. It keeps you going. And you pass the same thing to your agents, and the cycle repeats.
so it's a virtuous cycle. It's
Yeah.
one that feeds itself.
Yeah.
And as, of course, your mentor is one that has much experience to draw from, which you can learn without having to go through that.
True.
Yes. How about for you, Alex?
Well, I'm very, very honored, till today. I still take Scott as my mentor. As much as we joke to each other, right? I know he's poet and things like that.
Not lying is real.
Yeah, he's still younger, and yes, I named my son, my 5-year-old son, Scott. Middle name, right? Definitely not my daughter, right? He was like, are you gonna name your daughter Scottrina? I said, no.
Okay, same.
Yeah, but I think mentoring is very. I mean, to today, 14 years in the business, I still face a lot of challenges. My marriage. I mean, on my marriage, I'm not saying that my wife and I are on bad terms. We are not. Just that his life, his life. I don't know how to translate into English. It's like when we are married, honeymoon is over. It's all about like. It's like all your staple food, right? Your salt, your rice, So we are just like you, face all the normal life challenges. Yeah, and even for my team, Scott is in my group chat with my team. Yeah, so I kind of like I'm not ashamed to tell that hey, Scott is my mentor from the US, and if you feel that you are not comfortable sharing with me, all right, and you can talk to Scott, So I will leave Scott to share more, to his agency, how he will approach, right. Whatever that my advisors, tell Scott, Scott will never tell me, all right, what they have shared, all right. So I love that, and I think that will help my advisors to be more open up. So like I said, I know to today. I still reach out to Scott very regularly, right? And to the engineers, we are very technical, right?
Yes.
That obviously on the art part, that's where I need a lot of improvement. So I do reach out to Scott, on that aspect. Yeah.
And on that aspect, therefore, the mentor is really one that complements and complements. The affirmation is important, but the fresh look on how you're doing things or how you're seeing things is something that adds up. Then you share it with your group.
Yes.
So I'm going to flip the question to Scott. So these people are all calling you. You probably have how many mentees?
Right now, I probably have 8 to 10 regulars and
Yes.
several of their agents that reach out to me.
There you go.
And when we talk about mentoring, if you haven't learned by now, I don't do nothing conventional.
Which is exciting.
That's me.
Isn't it?
And I met Alex at an MDRT meeting in 2012 in Anaheim, California. Neither of us knew one another. We weren't even introduced. We served on the same volunteer committee. And they had a big, if you remember the MDRT, when they had the big Sunday night party with the bands.
Yes.
Well, I love music because my wife's a singer. So I love music. And believe it or not, my degree's in theater. So yes, I did want to be the actor, but never made it. But I walked to the field, and there Alex was sitting alone. Sat down, we started talking. By the end of that event, he asked me, he explained what was happening in his career and his life, and he said, would you mind being a mentor to me? And I was speechless. I had never mentored anybody. And I was scared because of the age difference and the distance. But I said to him, I said, I'll consider it as long as you consider 2 rules. And he said, what's that? I said, we always be honest with one another. And he said, oh, that's no problem. And I said, you realize I'm never going to tell you there's a right way of doing anything. Because there isn't. It's what's right for you. I shared with him that if you ask me my opinion on something, I'm going to give you my opinion and what worked for me and how I know it's worked for other agents. Because there's nothing new in this business. There's no new ideals. What makes it new is you take an old ideal and make it work for you. And that's when we started mentoring and met Richard in Malaysia when they invited me over. And I opened myself up with Facebook and that for the ones that want to share thoughts. And like I shared with the agency yesterday, the same 2 rules apply, but I add 1 third one. The first time we talk, you can spend 5 minutes telling me how much you hate your manager. And you can spend 5 minutes telling me how much you love your manager. After that, that's it. We're not there to sit and knock people. We're sent to learn from one another. And you can share from me. You can share to me your personal. And I'll never share with your manager. And when I say never, I did have one agent that both of these 2 know and don't even know who it was that got real depressed one time. Need I say any more what happens with depression? I had to call one of their good friends and say, do me a favor, call them. That's all I said. I didn't say why. I just said call them. That's part of mentoring, part of friendship. You get to learn, know about one another, and to this day we joke about it, but I probably talk to each of these 2 young men minimally once a week, and sometimes it's once or twice a day. Now that's 13 hours difference. But we have that relationship that we can talk, or they can say, hey, look, I can't talk right now, I'll call you tomorrow. No problem. But be there, because your friends are who's going to get you through this business. You can't do it alone. And I learned that the hard way. You can't do it alone.
And you want to make sure it's not an alone business, because you're there for them.
Yeah.
As we saw from your 2 mentees, and I'm sure that in times you needed them, there was one. They were there for you. And as we bring this well, short, but we wish there was more time, engaging conversation, I'd like to hear from you maybe one parting shot for our people. Maybe I'll ask Alex to talk about how it is to be a manager. I'm going to ask Richard about being a rookie, how you started out on the shift, what would you say? And of course to Mr. Scott, what is the one thing to add to what you have just said, how to be a good mentor? Okay, go.
Any aspiring managers here?
Aspiring?
Aspiring.
Yes,
Aspiring.
go.
Yeah. No restaurant.
They don't want to be identified because there you go.
Stand up,
There's a
stand
bad
up.
one. So please stand up. That's stating your goal.
Yeah.
You're putting us there.
Yes.
There you go.
Awesome.
There you go.
There you go. Wonderful. There you go. Okay. Yes. Okay.
Isa.
Isa. Wait a minute. Okay. Thank you. And
Yeah.
what he has to say naman to you is good for all, because in the end you're managing yourself in this business.
That's right. Now, there's no perfect textbook answer to be how to be a successful manager. You can be the most successful in your own version. Like what Scott has mentioned, be yourself. Now, when I be yourself, of course, not saying that, oh, I do what I like, sorry, my Singaporean slang. You can model after someone, right, that you like, right? Like for example, I'm a very engineering based, technical trained, all right. And I told my director, because I'm actually trying to file for director by the end of this year, and I told my director, look, there are so many managers, and all of us are very unique in our own ways. Okay, whether you want to build a strong MDRT team, or you want to have a more friendly manner, or no nonsense, a very military style, it all works, but it has to be you, because your advisors will mirror after you. Trust me. All right. So there's really a lot of ups and downs. All right. You have good teammates, but you also have prodigal sons and daughters, right? So be yourself, all right. And if you have a successful example to model after, go for it. And I took about 3 years to really realize that what I really want to do, okay. And I'm glad that of course there will be times where a couple will leave, all right. Always leave in good note, okay. I train up one MDRT producer, all right. On the first year, second year, double MDRT, third year, almost hit COT, and then she realized that she wants to pursue in business insurance, right. Till today, we still keep in touch, and of course it's I think I need too soon. But anyway, like I said, always for managers, don't be too emotional. I know sometimes when we spend too much time and effort, we will bound to have that. Take it as a journey. Yeah, there's a lot of successful branch managers. They have whatever they have seen that, done that. All kinds of be quite storm and yeah. So don't give up, guys. All right. So for managers is a very thankless job. All right, but definitely have a lot more to share, and we can, hope in time to come we can cross, we learn from each other, right? Thank you.
Thank you. So lesson number 1, be authentic. All right.
So my question is for the rookie,
Beginners,
right?
yes.
Beginners, yeah. So
Beginner MDRT aspirant, or first-time MDRT,
Yeah.
first-time manager, anything first time.
yeah. So example, like you're driving from here to the airport, you don't know the way. So what you can do is just drive and look at what's in front of you, and look at the sign and go. It's just like when you are trying to be an MDRT first time, you don't know which client is going to give you the business. But what you have to do is to keep the basic right. Keep seeing 3 people minimum, and to set the good foundation is very important, because there are times that you have no motivation, but you need the discipline to continue, especially after some times. Motivation is good, but there are times that you feel your lack of energy, but you still have to do what you have to do.
Which is the discipline part.
Which is the discipline part that my manager is very good at. And working with him is good for me, because I see how he's so disciplined, and I learn a little bit from him, just a little bit.
What I'm picking up from you is you see those rejections, those discipline moments as a challenge to bring out the best in you. That's why you are there where you are, lifetime.
Yeah.
MDRT. Wonderful. Yes, Scott? How to be a mentor. And I think that applies for being a manager, being a good financial advisor. It's all mentoring.
Growing up, and I'm sure it was that way for a lot of you, The question that you always get asked, what do you want to be when you get older? And you would say, oh, I want to be a doctor. I want to be an attorney. I want to be a movie star. But by a show of hands, how many of you answered you wanted to be an insurance agent? Look at that. Nobody.
By accident.
It doesn't happen by accident. As much as you think you chose this field and it was your choice to pick it,
Keep 100%.
I learned the hard way, you're wrong. This field chose you. They found you for what was in your heart and what you believe. That's what makes a good agent. You were chosen. You didn't choose
You're
it.
the chosen one.
They chose you. And that goes on with mentoring. I didn't choose either of these to be my mentee. We chose each other. We found each other. And that's what it's about. Find who you connect with. Find who's good for you. And sometimes you might go on a call and you say, why am I with this call? Fine. Find another agent to go with you that connects with that person. 50% of a commission of something is a lot better than 100% of nothing. Don't be afraid to admit your weakness. And when I say weakness, we all have it.
Yeah.
And don't look at it as a weakness. Look at it as a positive. Why is it a positive? You're willing to admit that's not your strength. Bring someone who has that strength. Bring someone that can answer those questions. And that's why I alluded when I said mentoring. I will never tell you there's only one way of doing something. I will never tell you it's the right way. Because there is no right way. What's right is what works for you. And I'll leave you with one last thought, and Janet knows how to reach me. Those of you that are on Facebook, I have a page on there that's called Scott Thompson Speaks. The only thing that I do on that page, Monday through Friday, when I'm at home, when I say in my country, I post a motivational quote. A positive quote. Why? Because we have so much negativity in this world. It's easy to find the negative of anything. Let's put the negative aside. Not that we're going to forget it, but put it aside and take 1 minute to find the positive in your life. So I invite you to look on the page. If you like it, pass it on to others, because it's not something I wrote. It's quotes I come across over the years. I showed them the other day. My cell phone right now, I'm up to about 2,000 quotes that I've found from somebody else that I just repost. Why? To bring the positive. Because yes, I have many negatives. All of us do. But the positive is what keeps you going. So when you're answering why mentoring, why not?
It's what kept you going. And we're so fortunate to have you and your mentees, all three of you, mentors in your own right, to enrich our day of getting together and becoming better than yesterday. Thank you very much for your time and your sharing. You greatly enriched all of us. And may I call our DM
Really a great honor having the 3 MDRT. Okay, guys, what is the highest achievement you have? Court. You're on the way to TOT. Let's say it's TOT. Ours, the TOT in the Philippines is 8 billion. Okay. Tell me, you compute how much the total of them are. How about you, highest? COT is about 3.8. So how much na? 8 plus 3.8, 11.8. And how about you?
COT.
COT is 3.8 again, total. They cost more than 10 million, right? They cost more than almost 14 and 15 million. Now, you have this 14 million worth of people in front of you. So, guys, maybe the next thing that you need to do is to apply what you learned today, this morning. Because they went up to how many miles away from US, from Singapore, from Malaysia, just to give you some learning. Can we give them a round of applause? Can we all stand up and they give a standing ovation and give them a round of applause? So this is our mabuhay way of thank you. No, it's a mabuhay way of thank you. So, okay, Ben, from your end you say salamat.
Salamat.